Welcome back to another episode, Life with Your Dog. Thanks for joining us once again. My name's Panos, and today we're going to be talking about aggression or predation, and which one is it? And people can be very confused about the difference, or even that there is a difference. We think a dog biting anything is only aggression, and we want to just try to clear that up today. Just like always, when we do talk about very intense behavioral issues like aggression and anxiety and things like that, everything that we talk is general in nature, and there's so much more that is involved with these sort of behaviors that we have to dive real deep into it. And I do work with these behaviors very often, but I'm not a scientist, and I'm also not. We don't have like the scope today to be going to so much intense detail. But today we do want to be like defining the terms and just some examples of where it's different and how that affects our dog's behavior. So predation is the preying of one animal on others. So it is when we call prey drive, when we see that there are dogs that want to chase a ball, for example, that is a form of prey drive. So there are many forms of prey drive, and it's important that we understand what predation is. So it's when the dog chases, catches, shakes, dismembers, and consumes prey. That is what predation is. So when the lion's in the jungle and he obviously finds an animal to prey on, he will consume that dog. He'll chase the animal and do everything that he needs to do so he can consume it. So it's a natural behavior that is integral to a predator's life. And we talk about being a natural behavior because it's something that we generally don't teach to a dog. We can teach a dog how to hunt specifically, or we may need to use that prey drive so we can ensure that our kelpies herd sheep and things like that. So training does come in terms of how do we want to harness that sort of prey drive, that instinctive prey drive, but it is a natural behavior that all dogs harness. It's just at a different level for sure. Where aggression is a defensive behavior to stop a threat, or it can be dominant behavior to maintain status or a resource. So when we talk about aggression, it's not because he wants to consume anything that he's biting. He's trying to stop that thing from getting closer or stop that thing from going close to something. So it's basically when the dog's feeling threatened, whether he's insecure or whether he knows that he has to show that sort of aggression to maintain some form of resource, or if the dog's in a dominant state, he's showing dominant behavior rather, and he then displays dominance, and then it can become aggression from there where he will physically make contact. Aggression is physical contact when the dog has bitten somebody, or generally that's what we call aggression. And of course, if a dog's lunging another dog, he may be aggressive, but in that moment he's not showing aggression. Well, let me rephrase that because that could be dangerous. Dogs that are lunging at something doesn't mean that they're aggressive. However, a dog that's lunging and has the intent to bite can be showing aggressive behavior. But when we look at aggression, we want to be clear about it not all dominant behavior is aggressive. So, for example, if there was two dogs in a park and one dog staunched the other one, stood over him, and then the other dog went into a submissive posture, showed his belly up to the dog, then that dog had established dominance in that moment, however, was not aggressive. However, if the dominant dog was to run over to another dog and the other dog challenged that because for its own reasons, and then the dog had to then continue his dominance and it became aggressive, then that's aggressive dominance that leads to aggression. But most of the aggression that we see in our pet dogs is fear-based. Most of the aggression that we see is when the dog is insecure, not sure how to interact, whether it's a lack of socialization or something negative happened to that dog or something bad happened in that critical period, a lack or a bad experience. Or when it comes to learnt behaviors where the dog learns, well, I have to be aggressive to keep this resource. I'm chewing on the bone and you come and always take it from me. And right now I really want to keep it. So, and every time I growl and stand over the bone and show these behaviors that he's resource guarding, if those things go unnoticed and we don't treat them seriously, the dog will then result in making physical contact and biting our hand, for example. And then when the dog bites us, we retreat and move away. And that's when the dog